Greetings, everyone. My name is Jonathan Bailey, and I'm from the site Plagiarism Today, which can be found at plagiarismtoday.com. Today, I kind of wanted to do a brief follow-up on PT's post yesterday, but first, a quick announcement. Sorry, as I'm looking around at my notes. There will be no PT post or the recount column today. The reason for that is being tomorrow is Good Friday. That is a holiday here in New Orleans. So Crystal will be off, so I'll be off at least part of the day. However, the bigger problem is that I have two major projects due. One's actually deadlines today, and I got another due on the 9th, or the 8th or 9th, evening 8th, morning 9th, one of those things. And so I've got to get to work finishing up those. So spending 3 hours or so posting PT, since a lot of people are going for Easter break, it didn't make a lot of sense to invest that kind of time doing post on PT. Besides, there's nothing urgent to talk about right now, largely because of how slow of a news week it's been. But I did want to come back around and talk about my post on PT yesterday. The post was entitled, and make sure I get the title exactly right, it's on my phone here, 5 Ways Content Creators Can Cause Piracy. It was a post I wrote kind of on a lark, if you will, but I think it was a very important post. But basically it listed various ways in which content creators oftentimes set themselves up to be pirated. It was things such as, once again looking at my notes, not making works readily available, ensuring pirated copies are superior, using confusing licensing. The other two were unrealistic price points and lack of samples and demos. Read the full article on plagiarismtoday.com. It's currently the #1 thing on there and will be through Monday. But I've gotten a couple of emails, and one person left a series of comments on the Facebook page about this, really criticizing me. And I kind of expected some backlash about this. I knew this was not going to make some people happy, and I knew it was a risk I was going to have to take. But it's interesting because the accusations being hurled against me all come from the same angle, and that is that I'm, in this post, blaming content creators for piracy. And if you read the actual article, both in the intro and in the conclusions, I decidedly try to not do that. I decidedly talk about this as an issue of this shouldn't cause piracy. These are not things that should be excuses for piracy or bring about piracy, but they do. And the reason is this. There's 3 layers you can have a copyright or piracy conversation. The first is legal. This deals with what is an infringement, what is non-infringing, what's a fair use, what falls under other exemptions of copyright law, what are the possible repercussions, etc. That's the legal discussion of copyright. The second layer is the ethical. This deals with what's right, what's wrong, what's moral, what's immoral, what should be allowed, what isn't allowed, what is, ethical, if you will. The moral issues of copyright, the ethical issues, are, of course, legion and up for hot debate on that one. And it seems to me that that is where these people are coming from. They're thinking that I am blaming content creators ethically for piracy, when I don't believe that ethically they are responsible. I believe ethically the issue exists solely in the heads of the people that choose to take the content illegally. I don't believe, ethically, I don't believe any action by a content creator means they deserve to be pirated. But the third space is where I try to operate as much as possible, and that is the practical, what is reality, what is going to happen. And that's a thorny issue here because, basically, you have to sometimes acknowledge that just because something is right doesn't mean it's real, doesn't mean it's actually happening. And a good example is that in an ideal universe, the fact that a work isn't available wouldn't lead to piracy. I agree completely. But the truth is, it does happen. That type of thing does increase piracy some. And it's a reality you've got to live with as a content creator. You have to understand, if you don't make your work available on a platform, if you don't put your work out there in a way that people can trivially buy and access, people are going to obtain it illegally. It's a reality. I hate to say it, it's not right, it's not ethical, it's not legal, but it's a practical implication. And so go back and reread that article and think of it less as, a tirade on the ethics of piracy and more on the practical realities thereof. More of my way of talking to people about, hey, if you do this, then expect this. It's just a reality situation. It's just the way the world works. May not like it. I don't like it. But it's the way the world works. So, don't shoot the messenger on that one. And besides, I think these are all things most copyright holders can do very easily without sacrificing their ethics or their legal standing that can really reduce piracy. And I think they should be all looked into seriously. On that note, everyone, I hope that clears up at least a little bit to those of my harsh critics there. But in the meantime, this is Jonathan Bailey, signing off.